Okay. Dr. Apoki. I'm your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. Men, come closer. My father died after about 38 years of marriage to my mother. That was my mother's second marriage. She was married by levirate marriage. If you go to the Bible, go and check levirate marriage. And she was alone in the house I built. Then I was in my 30s. And she would start crying. Then they asked her, Mama, why are you crying? She said, my husband is dead. Who will I now quarrel with in this house? After 3 weeks, she died. There was nobody to quarrel with. My father and my mother fought a lot, quarreled a lot. There was domestic violence, there was strife, and there was a lot of dysfunctionality. Police used to come to our house to arrest my father or settle quarrels. My mother would go to police station. And I started settling domestic issues from a very young age. It was one of those days that my father told me I would be a doctor. But I got married with the resolution that these issues will not crop up in my family. That's my immediate nuclear family. Lo and behold, the same issues I saw started cropping up. The first 5 years were not easy at all. And then I resolved in my mind that what happened between my father and my mother will not happen between my wife and I. But it was not easy. What were the immediate causes of the domestic issues in the marriage? Number one, most people, when they get married at very young age brackets, they do not understand the real purpose of marriage. You just admire yourselves, and for the man, the desire to copulate and to release the pent-up tension in them. For me, she was pregnant before I married her because I was an unbeliever. Number two, people hardly separate from their past and cleave. You still see yourself as yourself. You still see the man sees himself as a man. The woman sees herself as a woman based on traditional perceptions. You no longer own yourselves on your own. You don't have total right over yourself. And therefore, you must put the other person into consideration. A lot of the crisis in marriage is because I want to have my way. She wants to have her way based on societal perceptions and sometimes biblical perceptions that are no longer applicable in this age bracket. There were things that were applicable in the biblical era, which was an agrarian era, which was a masculine era, a paternalistic era, that women were not counted in the Bible, they didn't matter. But it has changed, and you must readjust. One of the things I learned is that be ye like God, be imitators of God. It is not everything we say that God responds to. Not everything. Recently, it rained and somebody was complaining. I say, you were the same people complaining about hotness, about heat. Coincidentally, I'm wearing a Miami Heat jersey. If God should listen to all our complaints and all our utterances, he will destroy us in anger. So, what I learned from Don Oduns, the senior, have 3 filters. First filter will filter things that you will not act on. You will never act on them. Second filter, the things you will act on immediately. Third filter, the things that you will take time to act on. And so I started applying these filters and I started having peace of mind. The next thing is that I don't care about most of what men care for. Money? No. I'm ready to leave everything for her. As long as I have my sanity. Food? I will never quarrel because of food. I have never. Going to Jerusalem? Count me out. I will never quarrel because of going to Jerusalem. And I don't do adultery. I have intellectual orgasm. I create materials. So, man, don't derive your relevance. I've said this over and over. Don't derive your relevance from marriage. Don't. This is my marriage. This is my marriage. No. There are other things. There are people succeeding. Dangote is very rich. He's not married. I don't know of Elon Musk. I don't know of Tiger Woods. I don't know of Steve Jobs. I don't know of, have I mentioned Elon Musk? Of several people. Carlos Slim, I don't know his wife. Sam Walton, I don't know his wife. IKEA, the founder of IKEA, I don't know his wife. You, as a man, you don't derive relevance and respect from her unless you don't have big dreams. My wife, when I started social media, the stress she gave to me. Every time phone. And if I'm not doing the social media, if I stay with you, we won't say anything reasonable. So I was building this platform. I want to thank all of you who have made it possible for us to cross the 60,000 subscriber mark within a few months. That is one of the fastest growing channels on YouTube, and I thank you. I thank you. So I was doing my stuff. I left the school for her, left everything for her. I was building my stuff. She complained, she criticized, she analyzed. Now I buy data for her to do her own browsing. But I was writing. And recently, when I told her some things, the way I stressed you over this thing, thank God you did not get discouraged. I don't act on everything she says. I listen. As I'm there, I'm filtering them. Be there. As my father got older, I was observing him and he was teaching me without saying any word, but just by observation. My mother will continue with her usual talk. He will bow down his head. Then he will turn his eyes and look at me. It is now I realized that she was telling me, are you learning? It is not everything your wife says that you respond to. And you must control your temper. I ask you simple questions. How many of your mates have you fought with outside? Is your wife your mate? You are older than her. You are stronger than her. Why don't you go and look for your mates, your age mate, and fight with? Look for Ben Whitaker and fight with. Or look for our brother from UK and fight with him. Abraham Adesanya, fight with him. Or fight with Joshua. Look and look for your mate. Is you a woman at home you want to be beaten? You know, she say you no get sense. Mumu, you don't have common sense. And you can't beat a woman to submission. If you hit her, she'll say, oh. Now my body you did for this strong. Last time a soldier flogged you, what did you do? Oh. You will kill yourself if you listen to the tongue of a woman. Just ignore her. Ignore her. Walk away from the strife. Become more creative in your mind. Tolerate her with her excesses. Ignore her confusion. Sometimes they don't know what they want. Just ignore her. If she's not romantic, be responsible. Be responsible. If she is not romantic, be responsible. Don't delude yourself with romance. Bust that thing. Be responsible. Even with her aggression and whatever, just be responsible to her. Shield your heart with the shield of faith. Jealously guard your heart. Create things that give you joy. I didn't say people. I didn't say women. Create things that give you joy outside her. Dare to walk alone. In those days, we go and preach together. The strife was too much. We put on AC, she will say, off it. Oh, put it on. The place is hot, I'll put it on. The next thing, oh, I'm cold. Off. I don't know their metabolic system. I will off. Next thing is, I want to watch Nigerian movies. You put on Nigerian movies. Why don't you go to CNN so that we can know what is happening? Here, I don't watch television. She wants to watch TVC and Arise talking about Nigeria. I want to watch CNN. My granddaughter wants to watch Cartoon Network. So I come to her bedroom here and browse with my phone and check my channel. So learn to walk away from trouble. You don't prove your headship of the house by traumatizing her, by being violent, and by being wicked to her. Behave like God before your wife and earn your respect outside. If they like, let them not respect you. How many of my children share my posts? How many? How many of my children have you seen making comments on my posts? They admire me as their father. One of them, somebody sent my video from Ukraine to him. Says, this your father? I said, yes. How can? That's how it is. Now then, Sabi, whoever, now Sabi, I love my children, very successful children. But I don't derive my relevance from them. I tell them, the people should be asking you, are you Dr. Charles Apoki's son? That's the way it is. They will be successful on their own and people will ask their children about themselves. That's the way we'll hand over the baton and that's the way we roll. Men, your wife no be your mate. Stop fighting at home. Go to the ring and earn money for the family. I am your friend, the area grandfather, Dr. Charles Apoki. I have a seminar coming up online June 7th and June 8th, Friday and Saturday by 7 p.m. Nigerian time. And you ask a lot of questions. And on the 8th, send me a message on +234 705213 6763 and we'll register you in the master class. If you can't make it, it's usually recorded and we'll send to all those who have paid and registered all over the world. We've done it severally and it's been awesome. And I have properties for sale. God bless you.